this is a tricky question, of course, but I really don't know. Since I'm 7, yeah, 7, 8 years old, I really don't know why. But when my mother asked me, "But what do you want to do when you'll be adult?" I said, "Archaeologist." And she said, "What is that?" And I tried to explain, well, you know, I going in a place, jungle with big ruins. I love that. And my mom was pretty impressed, and she told me something like, "Oh, you will change next year." And no. And every year I wanted to do the same thing. And well, now I'm proud to be archaeologist. Yeah.
And why did you choose the Maya? Why did you choose
That's the
Maya?
point. I don't know. I have some origin from Egypt. And my relatives said, "Oh yeah, you're archaeologist. That is because you are part of Egyptian and you love pyramids." And I said, "No, I don't really care about Egypt. I'm not really interested in desert, but Maya, yes, there is something. It's really hard to explain. I got the impression that this culture is talking to me. I got the impression that I understand them. I don't know. It's a kind of feeling. I don't have the same feeling for other cultures elsewhere in the world. I mean, even for the Incas, South America, not that far, but totally different. And I'm interested. As archaeologist, it's really interesting. But I don't have any feeling, any link to that culture, which is not the case for the Maya. I have two great moments for me who I will never be able to explain totally, because it was really hard emotionally talking. The first one was during, well, I led a project near the border with Belize, Guatemala and Belize. The name of the project was La Rojoya. It's a really, really small site, really lost in jungle. We were like 500 meters to the border, really hard to access. There is no road to get there. And we excavate a new stela. Well, we found a stela. And we believed, because some previous searchers came in this site before, and they indicate on a map the name of the stelas. So we believe it was stela 1, whatever. And so we excavate the stela, which was face down and totally buried. So we excavated totally, and we were 6 people just to put the stela up, just to check it was a correct stela. It was really hard because the stela was really, really heavy. And we pushed the stela, and it was around 9 or 10 o'clock in the evening. It was night, and the stela came up. And at that moment, I've checked the glyph, and we didn't know those glyph. It was a new stela. And I was, oh my God. It was a new stela just in front of me. And we were like, and we stayed all the night just to draw the glyph we could and make photos. It was just amazing. This was a really, really great moment, really Indiana Jones moment. And the second one was last year, and well, it's not a glorious moment actually. I was visiting a site named San Bartolo, which is a really big site from pre-classic time. And in San Bartolo, you have something amazing. There is a house linked to a big pyramid, but behind the pyramid, and inside, William Satono, which is the archaeologist in charge, discovered paintings, wall paintings. And I know those paintings for maybe 10 years now. I mean, I've seen a lot of drawings and the pictures on newspaper. But last year, I have the chance to go there and to see them. And I saw the paintings, and I was that shocked that I cried. I was just crying in front of paintings. And I was like, I mean, it was like a shame, you know, to cry in front of paintings. And I tried to hide myself. And Bill say, "Okay, Ramzy, okay, it's okay, no problem." Even the greatest, I've cried in front of those. So say, okay, no problem, I can cry. But I just couldn't control myself. It was so wonderful, so amazing. I just couldn't do nothing else than cry. Well, first, don't listen to your parent. Just keep on. I mean, if you really want to be archaeologist, you will be archaeologist.
Yes.
And if you want to discover archaeology, yeah, you have to practice the you know, that kind of activities. You need to go in the woods or in the mountains, walk a lot, and sleeping in tents. I don't know. I mean, but yeah, we have to insist because obviously the parents, they always want us to be lawyer, to be doctors or whatever. No, we are archaeologists. But I believe that if you really wants to be archaeologist, you know you are archaeologist. It's not like a game. But if you want just to discover archaeology, do it. We have plenty of sites you can just visit and you will see. I mean, one of the famous archaeologists in my area is David Stewart, and Dave became that good because his parents came to visit and stay in Mexico for a long time in Coba. And at 7 years old, David was in the ruins in Coba, living there. And now that guy is a genius, he's brilliant. Okay, so the ball game is a really complex activity. I mean, everything for the Maya was really complex. You cannot divide, how to explain. Okay, today, in our system, in our society, everything is linked to economic, everything. You are working for a salary. You are living in a flat for rental stuff. So everything you do in our society is linked to economy and money. I'm not saying it's good or bad, it's just our system. For the Maya, everything was linked to religion, to sacred. So the ball game was a sport, definitely was totally a sport, but completely linked to the religious system. So if you want to know a little bit about the ball game, you have to consider that it is a sport with rules as a sport, but with some consequences on religion. So technically, how they play, it was kind of a volleyball. You have two teams facing each other, and they have to hit the ball. One came to the other. There was no net in the middle, but there was a line drawn on the floor just to delimit where was the limit. And the ball had to pass from one camp to the other. The ball could be on the floor, just, how do you say? Yeah, rolling, yeah. Or bouncing in the air. Just both possibility was possible. And the way of scoring was just a negative system, like today in volleyball or in tennis. I mean, you cannot score a point, you cannot score a goal. You have to oblige your opponent to lose. And if your opponent loses, you win a point. You see the system? It's like tennis or like volleyball. There is a legend that they used to put the ball in the hip, in the loop. In fact, this is totally false. In the archaeological data, we know the loop only for the latest period in North Yucatan, so in pre-classic in Yucatan, or for the Aztec area only. So for all the classic time, normal time, the classic Maya time, you don't have any loop, any loop. So they used to play differently. And when we have loop, we check that the size of the ball was too big to get inside the loop. And the ball was like 5 kilos heavy, or 6 pounds heavy, more or less. So imagine if you hit a ball on the loop with that weight, after a few games the loop will be broken, definitely. And the loop we have are just perfect, and they are well carved with glyph, with motifs, and we can read everything. So it's really impossible they try to put the ball in the loop, really impossible. But why did the previous scholar imagine that? It's because we have chronicles for the Aztec area. And the Spanish said, well, actually it was Torquemada, which is a chronicle, and he said that they used to play the ball, and he's saying that if one day, by luck, a player put the ball inside the heap. In that case, they stop the game, he wins the game, and all the spectators had to give all their clothes and jewelry to that guy. So it's really impossible that they used to do that for every single point of a game. It's just impossible. Imagine if all the spectators of the stadium give all the jewelry and clothes to the first player who is scoring in a basketball game. They will be naked all the time, and it won't be possible. So this is mainly how they used to play, and the game was played until 7 to 9 points. Well, it depends of the source, and this is it. And there is another legend saying that the losers are sacrificed. Actually, this is part true and part false. The ball game has a strong impact on religion. And in fact, yes, there was some human sacrifice after the ball game. Yeah, definitely. But no, the winners nor the losers were sacrificed. Because the players were only members of the elite, of the top class. If you sacrifice 5 people every weekend, after 50 years, you don't have anybody to play or to live. It's not possible. But in fact, the Maya used to do a lot of wars, and one of the main goals of wars is to make captives. They were not used to kill the opponent, but they used to make prisoners, right? So, as every player is a member of elite, is also a warrior. So every player has captives. And what we know from Aztec sources, that we know that they used to give some captives with their own clothes, saying, "He is me, he is my flesh." So I assume that for the Maya ball game, it was exactly the same. The players were playing, and at the end of the game, the loser were sacrificed. So the loser had to give some captives in their name, and the captives were sacrificed, but never the player. And usually the captives are elites from other cities. So the status is almost the same, but they were just captives. The only function of a captive was to be sacrificed. They weren't slave. You know, slave is supposed to work to live. A captive is not. Is here just to die. Okay, so this is mainly the ball game, the Maya ball game. Actually, no, I don't have any question. No, I just would like to be able to stay with them maybe 1 week just to see. Because obviously we have billions of questions, but it's better to see. But at the same time, it could be a little bit dangerous because they used to kill the foreigners. So I don't know yet.